All right, now I think we are live. We just did a reboot. Welcome to Daily Dose of Awesome, your live 15 minutes of daily motivation, inspiration, and education so you can get your day started right. Today's topic is on how to take a terrible, horrible past or even just, difficult past and turn it into an awesome and inspiring future and fulfilling future, especially as it relates to launching your business and getting it out there. And this is going to be based on a meeting I had last night with some family members. Okay, I think we're live now. Hello. Launching your business and getting it out what's there. Up, everybody? All right, now we're good. So our topic. So I actually had a meeting last night with some family members on launching a music album, and it's not my music album, and so I'm going to share that story with you as to what it is what's happening with the launching of a music album from a family member, and how that related to or how that relates now to something you can take away from that meeting, as I took away, and so I went in that meeting thinking, what the hell do I know about the music industry and marketing and promoting an album? Well, I surprised myself during that meeting. So that's what I'll be talking about today, and how you can actually take that and run with it yourself. Now, if you're new to our broadcast, my name is Fernie Ceballos. I'm a lead generation and online marketing expert specializing in helping home business owners, that's network marketers, affiliate marketers, direct sellers, multiply their incomes using the internet. I built my first six-figure network marketing business within a couple of years of discovering the information we teach here at Elite Marketing Pro. And over the past 10 years, I've been responsible for over $12 million in gross income into my home businesses, and it's going up. And I've helped our clients produce hundreds of millions of dollars more in their businesses as well, in the network marketing, direct selling, and online entrepreneur space. So what we teach works. It works in any market. In fact, as you will see, what we teach here at Elite Marketing Pro can literally work in the most unexpected markets and industries. Now, I highly recommend you subscribe to these lives if you're not already subscribed. If you're brand new and watching this live for the first time, there should be a button that appears in the comment section where you can follow us. If it doesn't, click on your mobile phone, click on the video. A little ellipsis symbol will show up on the top right corner. Click on that again, and that'll open up a menu where you can follow us, turn on live notifications, where you get a little ping on your phone every time we go live, and a little reminder so that you can either watch it live or watch it a little later. But it just makes sure, it assures that you don't miss any of the content we bring here on a daily basis. In fact, yesterday we had a seven-figure annual earner by the name of Lisa Grossman, who's also a mentor of mentors, and mentors the biggest names in the industry, as well as consulting for various network marketing companies. Probably the wisest woman in the network marketing space, and we had her on and delivering value and talking about the future of network marketing. So if you missed that, go check it out. But the only way you can actually have access to that is if you actually choose to follow our fan page, and that'll unlock all the content, our archived of hundreds of shows we've done with various top producers. So go do that right now on your desktop. It's similar. Above the description, click on the logo. That'll take you to our fan page. You can like it, and under following, choose to turn on live notifications. So with that said, let me just hop right into my story of what happened last night. So if you guys, if you guys follow me personally, then you know that I have, you may know that I have a cousin named Edna, and her stage name is Edna Monique. Her actual name is Edna Ceballos, but so her stage name is Edna Monique, and she's an artist. She basically went to studied at USC, graduated with a degree in music, specifically specialized in opera. So she's an opera singer, an incredible voice. I've always we get to the treat of our family is that whenever there's some sort of get together, especially considering we're a musical family. I come from a family of mariachis. There's an actual mariachi called Mariachi Ceballos, and that was at one time led by my father and my uncle, and since it's been passed on. And so Edna's an opera singer and done numerous live performances, but hasn't like a lot of artists hasn't made it big. Although in my opinion, the talent that she has, the voice that she has, is second to none. And so she's actually been working. She and her father, who's also a music producer, have been working on an album. And so I got to actually meet with them last night because they wanted my input on marketing. and marketing that album. I'm like, all right, well, I'll go. I don't know how useful I'll be, and so we got to sit down first and foremost, listen to the album. So we got to listen to the album, and it blew me away. I'm like, I'm not a. It was her first pop album. And I'm not my musical tastes are very odd compared to most people. I'm like the heavy metal hard rock guy, in addition to a lot of Mexican music. So I'm kind of like all over the place there. Pop music doesn't usually appeal to me, but this album was pretty incredible, especially her voice, and she composed everything. So she did all the arrangements, wrote all the music, and then also wrote all the lyrics, and then actually performed it. So imagine that, the talent that it takes to be able to do all that. Most artists perform songs that other people wrote, and so she's kind of doing everything. And so so they asked me to come for marketing advice, and pretty much I just sat there listening for a little bit. I wasn't sure how I could contribute, but I was hoping I could. And they were kind of going over the conventional rollout of an album in the industry, in the music industry, and they're paired up with some pretty influential people. But ultimately, the album has to gain traction in the public, and so we'll see. That's what we're working on, and they're operating on a very limited budget to be able to make all this happen. And so, I just sat there and listened, and I was like, okay, well, I'm not, again, I don't know the music industry, but I'm not too sure of how do I can help. Maybe. She's working on a music video, and obviously her music is going to be online all over all the channels. So I have ideas as to how it can be shared and put out there, marketing wise. That's what we do with sponsored posts and sponsored ads at various platforms. But then somehow we got to start talking about her story, her background, and the truth is my cousin is actually a survivor and a fighter. So. Early in her childhood, she was at the Children's Hospital, for getting treated for all types of issues, including severe lung infection. In fact, she was near death at one point in her early childhood, and in the ICU unit at the Children's Hospital here nearby in California. And so basically, I mean, she has a personal connection with the Children's Hospital. Here, because they're literally saving children's lives, people with serious life-threatening problems, and she was one of those children. And so, and imagine that. So after overcoming that experience as a child, suffering and just dealing with that, and of course, imagine her parents. Later on, she started dealing with scoliosis. So now her spine is out of whack. And it's starting to warp, and so she had to wear a brace growing up. So she wore a brace basically at school, and she's still like the happiest kid in school, even though she's wearing a brace and walking around like a robot, and had multiple surgeries to basically correct that. And so we've never actually, I know this, but we've never actually talked about it because it's just something you don't ask somebody about their big scar on their back. You don't. Do that, and she doesn't like talking about it either because she doesn't like people to pity her. She doesn't want people to pity her. Yet, the fact of the matter is she's a survivor, and she doesn't like talking about it. She doesn't like to use it as any excuse for not pursuing your dreams, obviously. And so she's just a beautiful young woman with an incredible talent and has overcome so much. And so I was like, okay, well, that story. I mean, I was starting to think that story needs to be told. People need to know, all that she's overcome because people can find it inspiring. And then she went to she was driving by the Children's Hospital one day a couple years ago, and she just decided to go in and visit. It's been years since I've been here. I just wanted to maybe I'll see some of the nurses that treated me and be able to say hi. Whatever, and so she went in and walked into the intensive care unit, and then and on the wall are pictures of babies or children that they've treated there whose lives they saved basically, and it serves as a reminder to the nurses what the true purpose of their job, and my cousin walks in and says hi and meets a nurse. And the nurse asks, "What do you, what can I help you?" He's like, oh yeah, I just came to visit. I was here as a child. That's actually my picture on the wall, right there, that first one. And the nurse, all just went crazy. It was like, oh my God, that's you. Like that picture inspires me every single day. And then you watch all these other nurses start gathering around, and they meet, they get to meet one of the adults that they once treated as children. And also, there's a lot of new nurses that are there that didn't treat her, but see her picture on the wall as a baby. And then they're like, one, they're just happy that she's alive and well, and as an adult. And then the other thing is, they start asking her, oh, what do you do now? Like, what are you up to? And her response is like, I'm an opera singer. And dude, that just floored them, that a child that they once were treating for severe lung infections and was on the verge of death is now an opera singer, studied at USC, specializing in opera, has an incredible voice. And if you guys want to actually look her up, her stage name is Edna Monique. You can just do a Google search and find some videos. A lot of them are in Spanish, but the voice you'll be able to see. And so the nurses start crying. They start calling people from other floors to come and meet one of their former patients. And then she ends up, people from administration come, and they basically, they are so inspired by her story that they invite her to come sing at one of their events at one of their fundraisers with a bunch of very extremely wealthy people that are there to contribute, and she gets to sing in front of everybody, and then just a country club type thing, and everyone's just kind of eating and mingling, and then my cousin gets on stage and starts singing, and the entire room just freezes, and they're just again blown away by her voice and her talent. And so after she shared that story, it's one thing to market the product, in this case it's marketing the album and the music, which in and of itself is incredible. But there's so many things around us that are impressive and incredible. We watch music videos, growing up, and we've seen music videos on the internet. We watch them and it's like, oh, that was pretty cool. And then we close the browser and that's it. And we forget about it. And, or we listen to music. And then, okay, that was a cool song, and then close it and forget about it. Or you hear it on the radio or whatever. But what I shared with my cousin is like, what if we made a video sharing your story, and that video, a short, very short, condensed documentary on your story and your journey, and wrap it in your music. So essentially, the soundtrack for that video is your music, and it serves as a way to inspire. And not only that, she wants a portion of her revenues for whatever success she gains from her companies. So she literally has her own label, her own publishing, and other stuff, like the 3 entities. And what if we took a percentage of those companies and donated that to the children's hospital? So literally, people buying your music are contributing to people just like you. They're helping save the lives of children. And so as I'm explaining all this, now she's inspired. Now she's up. Like, she didn't want her story to be shared because she doesn't want people to pity her. But then when I put it in the terms of the impact that she's making in the lives of others by sharing her story, not only would it bring her attention to her music, by people loving and experiencing her music, there's actually a tangible gain for a cause that she's very inspired by and wants to contribute to. And so that's essentially kind of like the plan that we've come up with, creating a video that actually shares her story. And if you actually look at anything that happens with regards to public figures or figures on TV that you may not know, like one of my cousins was describing things that happen on The Voice, the show The Voice. Not that I watch it, but apparently, like right before they're going to perform, they tell their story. So they share their story of their struggle, their background, all that stuff. I'm like, of course they do. They have to do it. Otherwise, you're not gonna, you're gonna root for people you have a personal connection with. You're gonna root for people online. You're probably right now following people and rooting for the success of certain gurus because you have a personal connection with them, or even an up and coming person in this industry. You're rooting for them because you have some sort of personal connection, or their story a little bit. So that's what happens on The Voice. In fact, that's what happens in sports, in boxing, fighting, baseball. The sports in and of themselves are pretty mundane and boring. But when you actually know the stories of the fighters and know the stories of the players and know the stories of the team, that's what makes it meaningful. That's what makes it intriguing and makes you want to root and support a certain team. And so that's the power of a story, especially if it's a story of struggle. And guess what? We all have struggle. We all have pain. The human condition is based around suffering and survival. So, that is your common connection with everybody else. We are all hardwired to survive, meaning we're always dealing with struggle and pain in our lives, and that's the common thing we can always connect with, because we can, even if we haven't had I haven't had scoliosis or lung infections, but I can identify with struggle because I had my own struggles. Maybe not as serious, but it doesn't matter. And so as human beings, we are inspired by story. We're inspired by people overcoming struggle because we all struggle. And so it's one thing to talk about the product, talk about what it can do for you, but when you tell it in the form of a story, especially if it's a story of overcoming great struggle and great pain, it's going to inspire the world. And especially a story like my cousin Edna's is going to be powerful, and that's going to allow you to make a greater impact. So now you guys have heard the story of my cousin. You guys are not likely to forget this story. If I had done some teaching on technical teaching on the process for converting somebody into your downline, you need to write it down and you need to put it somewhere, because you're not going to remember it, but you're going to remember this story. And very likely when you share your story of struggle and overcoming in order to get to where you're going, you're going to find that that's going to be a far more effective tool for reaching your goals. You're not exploiting your story. You're inspiring other people, because ultimately what we're doing here in this business is making an impact. And that's essentially through her music. That's what my cousin hopes to do. Now that we've kind of created this concept, and so it'll be up to her video people to put that together. But I'm the marketing guy. I'm the ideas guy. Thankfully, I'm not implementing it because I don't know nothing about putting music together or that narrative. But it's pretty powerful, and I hope you guys got value from this and find a way to share your story with other people, even if that story, that background is painful, because it's going to touch somebody. It's going to make an impact in someone's life that's going to matter, and it can be the difference. In some, not in your business, but it's going to be the difference. You're sharing your story is going to be the difference in helping somebody else, and the difference between whether they make it or not make it, or the difference between whether they choose to quit or not quit, in the pursuit of their dreams. And so that's what my cousin Ed is doing. She's inspired all these nurses in the children's hospital, and I guarantee when this album hits, the children's hospital, the staff there will be the first people rooting. So it's pretty awesome. So let me get to some stuff here, guys, because I've been pretty. Thank you. I didn't mean to get you guys all teary. Thank you, Heather. Awesome. So just great feedback, guys. So be sure to share this with everybody. Share this across. If you have a referral link with Elite Marketing Pro, use that to share. It is a pretty exciting story. And also, if you want to check out my cousin's music, just search Google for Edna Monique, and you'll find a video that's right there near the top. And again, a lot of her early stuff was in Spanish because she comes from she's a Mexican background. But obviously the talent is there. You'll be able to hear her voice, and it's pretty awesome. So that's it for today, guys. We'll be back tomorrow for our next Daily Dose of Awesome. Thanks so much for being here, guys. And we will talk soon. Thanks for allowing me to share, and also thanks for being patient with some of the technical issues we had earlier. Take care.